Kati, you mentioned the project sponsor already few times, and this is something that you're bringing as your experience that is very valuable for every project manager. So before we go into any specifics of the interaction between project sponsor and project manager, so in your words, for our attendees, what the project sponsor is. So who the person is.
He or she is the person who has ordered the project, who is the owner of the project, who is getting the actual deliverable, who is going to do something about it, with the project end result. So it could be, for example, in an organization, it might be the region executive who is wanting to get a tool project run, so that everybody will use the same travel logging tool across the countries, and that's a whole program to be run, and they are the owner. But they will have a program manager and project managers who drive it. But they are the executive sponsor, the owner. Or it could be a client who is a sponsor, that they are getting the project deliverables. But it might also have the company executives as the client, and then the delivery company executives also as a sponsor. So then it's not necessarily only one person, but it could be different ones. Like I have done some strategic projects, so that there's been me as the head of my organization, and then a head of the sales side of the organization, together jointly driving a tool change, for example. So yeah, so that's a sponsor.
And then it seems, well, for a project manager, seems like an important person, right? The person that actually is a key for project success on one side, and then very important person to speak to communicate, to understand. But it seems to me very limited amount of time, because if project sponsor is just ordering something to be done, he probably has a bunch of different things to be done. And then we see often disconnects and misunderstandings sometimes between project managers and project sponsors, if there is no this common understanding of communication between them. So what from your experience, what are the most common disconnects in communication, the most common problems between those two entities?
Well, to start out with, for me, a sponsor is also the face of why the project is done. So if it's, for example, an organizational change that is to be driven through, like agile or lean, that kind of things, or other kind of organization changes that will impact the individuals in the organization, the sponsor has to be the face that is constantly talking and telling the whole organization, every employee, why we're doing this, why is this important, what's in it for you, so that the teams on the ground understand why this is being done. And then it is easier and smoother for the project manager and the project team to get on with their work, and they will encounter teams on the ground who are already willing to support and willing to take part. And this is where I have sometimes seen that, especially when it comes to organizational culture changes and so on, that if the sponsors are kind of dumping that on the PM doesn't have that kind of a route to talk to organization and the influence to talk in that way to people. So the sponsor needs to be the PR person, in brief, for the projects, why we're doing it. Also, when defining the scope, if sponsor is the one who is ordering this project, they need to be also actively defining the scope and telling what do they want, what is the end result they want, what are the exit criteria. They need to be involved in that discussion. And again, here I have seen sometimes mismatches on sponsors being rather vague, or then project managers leaving it at that and not daring to challenge the sponsor, to really push them that, yes, but what is it exactly? Where do you want to end up with this? What benefit does it bring to you? Ask the right questions. Ask the sponsor. You have the right to ask those questions. You are the PM, and if they want you to do a good job, you need to ask those questions. And trust me, I think they will, after all, if they don't get irritated, I hope not, they shouldn't, if they are ultimately the client. So if you go to a shop and somebody, the sales assistant is trying to understand better what you're going to use this for, they are also able to help you better. So that's the logic in this bit.